on the first show, you had mentioned you hurt your back and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And one thing I
flying.
wanted to share with you, dude, is see this wallet?
Yeah.
This
you
is
mean
my
like, wait,
wallet.
hold on. You mean like this big lumpy one that I sit on?
Yeah, pull that thing out.
Dude, this thing's the fucking eyesore of the world. Everything is, where's the camera? See, I'm just like you. Look at this. It's got like hair things sticking out of it because it's so old and withered. And everything I put into it, watch what I could do with it. Hey!
Yeah, exactly. It's flimsy.
Everything falls the fuck out. Now, this is my fault, by the way, because I can't seem to find a decent wallet. Do you have any tips?
Well, it's funny you brought that up, man.
Ridiculous.
And this is why we've got back problems. So for old men like us, and even for young people, I ran into this company called Ridge, right?
Okay.
Ridge.
I like the name.
RIDGE, right?
Yeah.
Look at this wallet, right? Carries everything you need, right? And look at this.
Compact.
It's compact, and just like this, you push down, you fan it out. You need a credit card. I got to pay for something. Just that easy. I go pay it. Boom. Put it right back in. And guess what?
You can just flip out and have multiple choice that easy.
That easy. Look how easy this is. And you know how stupid I am. You see how easy that was to fan out just like that, man?
Yeah.
Look at that, dude.
I'm stupider, but yeah, I get it. Okay.
And then you got
awesome
the cash right on the back here. And guys, look, this episode is sponsored by Ridge. And if you use the promo code YouTube10, that's YouTube 10, you receive 10% off any Ridge product. Guys, I'm telling you, man, look at the difference. Look at the difference. You've got to use Ridge. Monte and the Pharaoh are telling you, please support Monte the Pharaoh. And guess what? They've got other cool stuff. Because I'm an asshole, I just dropped it. Hold on.
It's all the way over there.
Only Monte will do this, folks. They also sell.
How's your back? You okay picking that thing up?
Well, since I've been using Ridge, my back is like 100% better. Right. Also, dude, check this out. From Ridge, I ordered this. Right, I know you're recently married, right?
Yeah.
24-karat gold-plated ring. Look how beautiful that thing is. Right, Ridge.com. Again, use YouTube 10 to receive 10% off. And guess what? If you're a working man and you're working with electric, you don't want to be using gold. You want to burn yourself. They also come with a nice rubber ring that you can wear.
They got those.
We all know the wives.
Yeah,
that's right. And the wives don't want to, they get pissed off if you stop using their shit, right? Or showing you married, because it's some hot girl. She doesn't see you married. She's jumping all over your shit. Especially if you're using the Ridge wallet, dude.
Nice.
Look at that. Look how thin that thing is, Jimmy.
Does it come in different colors and stuff? I mean,
you know what? You're brilliant. And guess what they just came out with? NFL team Ridges.
Ooh.
So if you're a Jet fan and you want to show your Jet color, or you're a Yankee fan, you can wear your Yankee fan Ridge.
Okay.
So anyway, I recommend that. And
very nice. Well,
thank you to Ridge. Thank you to Ridge. I agree.
Thank you very much.
The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite 4-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
Of the afternoon underdog.
Hope you're drunk or heading home to a trailer.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back with the afternoon underdogs here in the doghouse, listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We've got college football coming your way tomorrow afternoon, kicking it off with the Army-Navy game coverage starting at 1 p.m. for a 2 p.m. kickoff, and then we'll wrap up the evening with an 8 p.m. kickoff for South Alabama and Western Michigan. I'm David Hayes, along with Coach Brian Haddad. We've got Jamie Farrow in the building with us, and we've got the Bone Crusher on, and we're getting you guys ready for not the PLE. It is a nationally televised event on USA. This is Saturday night's main event. Is it Saturday night main event or Saturday night's main event? Is there?
I think we're splitting hairs at that point.
But it's wrestling, though.
We are returning to NBC network television, and as we're about to get into, oh man, there's some kind of history behind this this television show.
When was the last time that they did this Saturday night main event?
2008 or so.
Okay, so it's been almost an adult life away.
In between that. It originally ran from 85 to 92.
Okay,
and then he took 16 years in between to get to 2008 or so.
Yeah. Wow. Well, let's talk about the guys that we are going to be discussing this here, David.
You want to bring our guest on?
Of course. Yeah, I think so.
Where is he?
We got. Hey, Monte, you there with us, buddy?
I'm here.
All right.
Here we go.
Oh, you missed a great New York sports segment last time. We were just riffing on the Yankees, and Jimmy was crying about the Jets. I mean, it was wonderful.
Crying.
Yeah, you know.
There's no box of tissues
but
on
anyway,
this table.
All the tears are in your lap right now.
Yeah, exactly. But again, guys, as always, and we have them on all the time going into the big events with wrestling. But Monte and the Pharaoh, you can check them out on Facebook, on YouTube, Cablevision. I used to say Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, but you guys have multiple shows going now. But the best thing to do, guys, if you haven't seen them, check out the back library. Hundreds of thousands of hours of entertainment, a lot of great stuff coming up too. But guys, let's get right into it. Saturday night's main event. I mean, you know, we've talked about it. Y'all are a few years ahead of me, but I'm closer to you. Dave's kind of the baby of the group here.
Oh,
but
okay,
I'll take it.
Mid-'80s.
You should.
Look, mid-'80s, golden era wrestling. It was as hot as anything in the world. This was a Dick Ebersol and Vince McMahon creation.
Yep.
Saturday night's main event, it wasn't prime time. It was late.
Right.
But, man, I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this, what it meant to wrestling, and maybe kind of some of your memories from the events of the past.
Well, it meant everything to wrestling as we see it today. Basically, WrestleMania 1 was viewed by Dick Ebersol. Mm-hmm. A few weeks later, obviously, he got in touch with Vince, and within a few weeks later, maybe it was a 30-day span or so, the next thing you know, we're on NBC. What is going on here? Ebersol and McMahon have come together, and the production jump between WrestleMania 1, it's only like 30 days later, you can see the production jump as they go to network television for Saturday night's main event. For example, the lighting was better. There was now a boom microphone in the ring where you could hear how hard they were hitting the mat. Cool. There was many, many things that had instantaneously changed, and Vince must have been just losing his mind with glee.
Yeah.
Because this was turning the E in entertainment. This was what Vince was after. So the seeds are planted with the relationship between those two, McMahon and Ebersol.
Yeah, and Mike, we always talk about just the phenomenal production that WWE has always done. Do we really think it, I mean, does it predate Saturday night's main event, or was that kind of the zenith of teaching Vince and the crew, look, this is the kind of production you can do with wrestling, and that's what's led to 30 years of just phenomenal wrestling production?
You know, Jimmy and you and Coach, you guys hit on the head. That was the beginning. I think this is where Vince starts to learn more about television production, right? One of the great things about Vince McMahon is I think he's always willing to learn to better the business. And that, I think, was the genesis of the higher production. So I agree with you both on that.
You know, how important is, look, wrestling is hugely popular right now, but it is a little bit different than, say, in the Attitude Era and in the Golden Age, just because you've got, you know, a very fragmented, you know, media viewing and, you know, with streaming and different things like that. And obviously you have more options than you had back in the days of the 3 channels and PBS. So how important is it, with as good as things are going for the WWE, and I know SmackDown was on Fox, but how important is it to get these bigger network specials on NBC that maybe can bring some people into, you know, I've heard this wrestling thing's interesting. I'm going to have to watch this.
It's going to bring in more fans because that's what the original intention of Saturday night's main event was.
Right.
So, and you're dealing with, once again, we're talking NBC. You're going to bring in new fans.
Yeah.
And it's coming leading right up to, hello, by the way, we're on Netflix. You know, there's a lot of genius stuff going on here right now. You know, Mike, how do you feel about it? I think it's perfect timing.
It's great timing, and I think this just proves that this era might be the greatest era of professional wrestling has seen. We talked about the Attitude Era. Coach just talked about the Golden Age era. This is the time. Streaming, cable.
Right.
It's just the gamut of what they're building here. Who would ever think that pro wrestling would be as big as it is? Jimmy, when we were growing up, Coach, when you were growing up, did you ever think that pro wrestling would be on the forefront that it is today? And at one point I always think about the wrestler who, you know, dreamt about being a pro wrestler, and then all of a sudden they're on NBC, whether it was in the 80s or now. It's got to be like, who would have ever thought my dreams of being a pro wrestler, I would be on, you know, nationwide television?
You know what I love about it is, so if we're looking at that golden age, and as big as Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper and Orndorff and everybody who was really involved in the zenith of all of that stuff, WrestleMania 1, first Saturday night's main event, they really, to take it to the next level, had to bring in the Cyndi Lauper, the Rock and Wrestling connection to bring people in. I think what I like so much about this one, they're really not doing that. They're showcasing their people.
Right.
They're not, you know, I'm sure they're going to show some celebrities in the crowd, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they have to put Cyndi Lauper in the ring and have a platinum record, you know, crashed over Albano's head or whatever it was back then. They're showcasing their people, and I think that's huge.
Well, it's also because nowadays CM Punk is a huge name.
Yeah.
He's a huge name. I mean, Logan Paul's not...
Jimmy, you always got to throw CM Punk.
You're damn right I do. You're damn right I do. But it's a fact, as Mike also begrudgingly acknowledges. A name like Punk, you know, Roman Reigns is a product of the system, but Roman Reigns is the biggest star in the company, basically. You know, CM Punk is a sexy name. Everybody knows who CM Punk is. Logan Paul, I just read he claims he's going to retire from wrestling. Logan Paul's a huge name.
Yep.
Logan Paul was a huge name before he ever stepped in a wrestling ring.
Do you think that would be ill-advised of him to retire? Meaning, some of these guys have worked longer working to get to the WWE than what Logan Paul did, and basically he does, what, a year and a half or so? And I know that it's his prerogative.
He's done a great job.
It's his decision. So it wouldn't bother you at all if it was just a very quick stint in
that door's
WWE.
not closed.
I don't think it's closed either. I think he's playing with us, quite honestly. I would hate to see Logan Paul leave. He's been great. He hasn't been good. He's been
From everything
great.
I've seen, I've been so surprised. Like, man, he really knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. And then, like, stealing finishers and stuff like that.
Most importantly, Mike has pointed it out 1,000 times. I couldn't agree more. The star of the WWE is the WWE itself.
Yeah, it is.
Okay?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is a product of the machine. You know?
All right, guys, let's look at the card here. Again, this is going off 8 p.m. Eastern. It's not like the old days where it was so dangerous they had late at night. This is going to be full primetime Saturday viewing, 8 p.m. Eastern. Nassau Coliseum up there on Long Island.
Are you going?
I am not going. I'm going to the Christmas Day one at the Garden.
Okay.
Again, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I would have liked to go, but I didn't go. So, yeah, I'm not going.
Okay.
That's just look.
There you go.
I know you're still bitter like I am about that Raw we went 2 years back with the fat guys with the signs and everybody's on their cell phones. All right, I understand. I got you.
So let's look at the card, guys. 5 matches, very similar to their PLE structures, you know, the down-the-line PLEs. But we do have 2 women's matches and 3 men's matches. A lot of belts on the line, actually, in this, which is interesting. Let me throw the first match out at you quickly because we don't know the exact participants yet. This is for the brand-new Women's Intercontinental title.
Okay.
We have either Bayley or Chelsea Green, which I wish these two would face each other in the final, to be honest.
Right.
Versus either Mishin or Tiffany Stratton, who currently holds the Money in the Bank briefcase. So quickly, Who would we like to see in the final, and who do we think's going to? What's our observation on the scripted television show?
My observation is probably going to annoy Mike. Why are we having Intercontinental and U.S. championships for the ladies? I feel like it's going to be overkill.
I think right now it's just the Intercontinental. I think it's just Intercontinental. I think they're going to wind up doing. Well, I'm sure they probably
with everything. I think it's a little bit of overkill. I'd like to see Tiffany get as many championships and stuff as possible. I don't know how do you feel about it, Mike?
I think I want it. I think a lot of fans want it. Chelsea deserves this opportunity.
Yeah.
Tiffany doesn't need this belt.
No, that's right. You're right.
I respectfully disagree with you. I think it's time for the women to start getting these belts because I think Coach hit on it a couple of months ago. I think we're going towards a women's show. Yeah. I think this is the ultimate goal, and they're trying to establish these belts. They can't fail on this, though. They can't give these women these belts and just kind of like treat it like the 24/7 title. They've got to put great storylines, and they've got to. I think we're looking towards a women's show, Jimmy, to be actual.
I think the tournament has not been exactly super engaging. It's not like the New Day storyline. Let's put it that. That's a problem.
No, and we're going to
that's a problem.
Yeah, we're going to get to that one in the next segment. I'm with I think the women's roster is so deep. We do need at least one, maybe two belts. Because I do think it's that loaded, and with what's coming through to NXT, it's going to be loaded for years.
Right.
I think what bothers me here is Tiffany doesn't need it because she's got the briefcase. I would like to see Bayley and Chelsea in the final because I could see them doing either. Chelsea should get it. Mike's 100% right.
I agree with that.
She would be groundwork because Bayley's great. She's a workhorse. She's always a pro. I'm a little worried they might give it to her to kind of get it started, but they need to go with Chelsea, so I'm hoping for that.
Coach, I'm gonna give you this real quick. They're gonna put her against. They're gonna put Chelsea up against Meechin, right? Because then people just be rooting for Chelsea, and it'll be that event. And you put her against Bayley or Stratton, then it's gonna be a problem. I think we see Meechin against Chelsea Green in the final.
That's very possible.
But I hate that matchup.
Yeah, I don't know if it's network worthy, but hey, maybe they'll prove us wrong. Chelsea Green, one thing, she can get a crowd going.
Right.
So, and you only need one. Speaking of that, we've got the women's title match, Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. We're going to talk about a little bit about Survivor Series in the next segment, but the women's match wasn't the cleanest, crispest match that they've had this year, but Io Sky was the star again, I thought, of that match.
Yeah.
I think she's probably been, not so much with the mic, that's going to be Liv Morgan, but in the ring, Io Sky may be up there with Rhea, the female MVP for this year. She has done a wonderful job. This is a match I'm dying to see, but I'm afraid we know the ending. I think Liv's going over in this one.
I agree. Look, it's Rhea's belt to take back. That's how I feel. Mike, how do you feel about it? You're much more the woman's expert on professional wrestling than I am.
Here's the way I'm going to say it. I think as wrestling fans, we're excited about this event, but we're forgetting what Saturday night's main event was built on back in the early days and even later on.
Go-home show.
They were go-home shows.
Yeah.
You're going to have run-ins galore here. You're going to have Rhea Ripley running in on this match. You're going to have it all. I mean, we'll talk about the other matches. Coach, I don't think you need to worry here. I think we're just going to have a squash match. Not a squash match, but just a run-in disaster that's going to fall into whatever,
glorious chaos. I love it.
Right,
exactly.
Let's get one more in before the break here. Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. This one was thrown together a little quickly. It makes sense. They've told a good story in a very short amount of time. Apparently, this was going to be the blow-off to Seth and Bronson, but Bronson got injured in the Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they did a pretty good job of putting a very believable storyline together very quickly, and this should be an interesting match as well.
That's because they're both great at what they do. Drew McIntyre, my God, when is he going to get his flowers? Drew McIntyre is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He has been, the last year plus, his feud with Punk, he comes back now. I mean, I can't wait for this match. I think it's great. I do think Drew's going over. Mike, what do you think about it?
Can't disagree with Jimmy. You got to put Drew over. This might be the only clean match that we get tomorrow night.
I know we've got a lot more to get to, as we always do. That's why I try to at least get you guys 2 segments. And I'm like, I should have just given them the whole show. But I do have a listener's question.
All right.
When we get back, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Text your questions in 850-215-6290.
dawn. Now, the afternoon underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
We've got a great slate of NFL football for you headed your way Sunday. Coverage starting at 11 a.m. The Chiefs and the Browns for a 12 p.m. kickoff. Following that game, it'll be the Steelers and the Eagles. And we'll wrap up Sunday Night Football with the Packers and the Seahawks. And we'll see you again on Monday for a 6:30 coverage time. 7:15 kick between the Bears and the Vikings. Actually, that'll be a 7 o'clock kick because we have another one of those double headers. It's not a double header, it's a staggered Monday Night Football game. But we don't have a lot of time here, so I'm not going to waste any of it. Real quick from Chef Ross, he wants to know, how do you guys feel about the WWE transfer portal? A little WWE college football merging there.
Oh, my God, WWE and college football in the same sentence? Look, when they've had drafts in the past, to me, it's just roster shuffling. It's not a big thing. It all depends on the circumstances and who they want to move where and when they want to move them. The end. That's pretty much it for me. Doesn't really do much for me one way or the other. You know? Yeah,
it's a convenient way to say we're going to move people to this show for Netflix and this show when I don't know that they need to, but it doesn't bother me.
No, no, it's never been much of a big deal to me.
Yeah. They always did the draft, and then brand loyalty was gone after 2 weeks.
They built video games with the draft, and I thought that was a really cool thing, but like you said, they never stuck with it. I guess that's a hard thing. Right. Do they stay primarily in their lanes these days as far as SmackDown and Raw, or some stars too big for one brand?
I'll say it this way: it depends on the story.
And the storylines have been at an all-time high.
Oh my God, we're getting into that for sure. Two more matches left here for Saturday night's main event. I don't know how I feel about this one. I generally don't like triple threats. Gunther, Finn Balor, Damian Priest. Look, Finn Balor's undersized, but he's another kind of background MVP to me.
Agreed.
And I'm thinking the reason to have three ways is to kind of try and keep people looking strong by having someone eat the pin or some kind of three-way chaos. I'm thinking that's what's done here because I don't think they want to take it off of Gunther yet. I don't think they want to bury Finn by just having him lose to Gunther. So they insert Priest to do some kind of screwy finish here. What do you guys think?
Okay, I don't feel like Priest should be weakened any further.
I agree.
Okay, number one, even though I'm not a big Damian Priest fan, I don't want to see him weaken further. I did notice a little seed where Balor basically embarrassed Dominic and said, well, Dominic got a shot that he didn't deserve. I deserved it. And you could see Dominic looking like, that wasn't too cool what you just said. So I wouldn't. And again, Balor, like you said, is such an MVP. I don't feel like Finn Balor loses anything if Dominic somehow screws over Finn Balor. And boom, guess who's getting pinned here? Because this way Priest doesn't lose any damage. Gunther should not be losing the title right now.
I agree.
Okay? So to me, I think he should have been nicer to Dominic.
Maybe it sets up another story for Balor is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mike, what's your spin on this one? Because this is a tricky one.
A lot of stuff is tricky, guys, because it seems like their talent roster is so high.
Yep.
It's like who can afford to lose, right? This guy can't afford to lose. That guy can't afford to lose. I love the idea with Dominic, Jimmy. I think it's a little bit too early. I think we're just going to look at, Finn Balor and Priest going into an extended feud again. I know we've seen it. Right. But I think this is what they're sticking with at this point. I mean, eventually someone's turning in Judgment Day, but I just don't think it would be right.
Does Gunther wind up taking advantage of those two clashing and getting some sort of victory that way?
I think that's what you're looking at. Okay. I mean, again, I don't even know what they're doing with Gunther right now because he seems like he's in that middle ground.
Tweener.
The one thing the WWE's doing, they're tweeners. We got so many tweeners right now. It's very difficult to map out the field as a fan.
What I think, but look, the New Day has been around for a decade. It's been flat for a while, and they set it up. It looked like they were going to break up, and even that was kind of a whatever.
Right.
And my God, did they do a wonderful job? They brought Big E in and swerved everybody. Both guys turned on Big E. The line of the night is you broke your neck, so what?
Oh, my God.
And turned these two guys into Dominic Mysterio-level nuclear heels.
They did.
Is this just one of the best things that they've done in a long time?
To me, yeah. It's one more example of how great they've been lately with and look at how far back this storyline goes.
Yeah.
This is a decade. My God. And they've also done the impossible. I have always hated the New Day.
Yeah.
I hated the New Day when they started. I couldn't believe the level of success they grew into. I couldn't stand them. New Day rocks, all this positivity. If I get any more positivity, I'm going to throw up all over my room. I couldn't stand the
I was
New
wondering
Day.
why you and Caveman Rick get along so well.
Well, it's just a natural fit, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, my God. And Mike and I were speculating: is Xavier going to turn on Kofi? Who's going to be the face? Who's going to be the heel? Who's going to? Oh my God! They both turn heel and go against Big E. You broke your neck. So what? Where have you been for the last 4.5 years while we've been carrying the mantle?
Yeah.
There's like reality in this.
Well, but
Wait,
that's
how long
but
have you
that's
been
it.
out for 4.5 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
But Mike, I want to get this, because as much as you're like, God, what a heel thing to do, you're like, they kind of have a point.
They do, Mike.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Every one of these storylines, there's tweeners. It's like, yeah, they've got a point. This one's got a point. I mean, talk about Seth Rollins and CM Punk.
Yeah.
It's like, Rollins,
oh my God.
you left, you dogged this company for 10 years, and now you come back for the money? These are all like real life situations where you go, wow, these people, they're right.
Yep.
They're right here.
Yep.
And then, you know what? The New Day is right. Big E moved on. When he broke his neck, they were with him, and then he forgot all about him.
Go back to your desk.
Oh my God! The funny thing was, that was the same show as the Punk and Rollins thing. I mean, they had two monster promos on the same show. Quickly, we've got the Netflix debut coming in January. They are going all out. Looks like we're going to have Punk Rollins. We're going to have return of Becky Lynch. Cena's going to be there. Rock's going to be there. They say. My only question is, I know you got to get people in the door, but the first time, but are we overselling the first one to the point that there's going to be a natural lull afterwards, or does it matter? We just got to get them in the door.
Overselling is the point of everything. Giving a larger-than-life presentation. Don't miss this. This is how you're supposed to market this. It's up to the bookers to make sure that it matches expectations. And considering the way the writing's been going, I trust them.
Yeah.
I think they're heading in the right direction one way or the other. Mike?
You got about 30 seconds, Mike.
I agree. And you know what? I'll say this last thing. If you love the Attitude Era, this is the greatest ever professional wrestling. The Attitude Era would never have been on NBC.
You're right.
Wow.
Agreed.
Guys, again, Monte and the Pharaoh, Facebook, YouTube, Cablevision. Check them out. Always great shows, always great content, and always great to have them on the show with us here on the Afternoon Underdogs.
Oh, it absolutely is. Hey, for Bone Crusher, for Jimmy, for Mike, for Coach Brian Haddad, I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs, and we'll see you Monday at 4. Y'all enjoy all the football we got coming your way. Just remember, Jesus loves you, so do I.
And the Titans stink.
Yes, they do.